right, guys, this is Crazy Kev here, and I'm here with Tai Emery. Tai, how we doing?
G'day, mate. I'm doing good. Obviously, this is fucking killer year.
No, it definitely is. And Tai, you got another fight coming up with Pearl Gonzalez. I mean, talk to us a little bit more about this matchup here.
So this has come about, like, this has been going on. Man, I've been speaking with Mams for nearly 2 years now. So I think it wasn't until Elle vacated the belt that things really started to move a lot faster for me with Misfits Boxing, and then getting to fight for the world title at 115. It opened like a lot of doors, just like opportunity wise, and being able to like branch out, being able to do crossovers. So super blessed that, people could take that away from that 5-round war. So Mems hit me up and said, like, the belt is vacant and would love to be able to put you in that spotlight. So a fight with Pearl is like literal OG. I think she's had a number of boxing fights. Man, she's ex-UFC. I actually think she was on the first Invicta card that I ever attended and got to watch. So it's funny how things like come full circle, someone who you're entering into the sport and crazily enough watched my first all women's female card, and then now I'm fighting her. So crazy.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. And I'm definitely excited for this matchup. And now, when it comes to like Pearl Gonzalez, I mean, talk to us a little bit more about, how you're kind of training and preparing for this upcoming fight.
Well, nothing really changes except now we're going from, I'm a bare-knuckle fighter. And I think she's a boxer, but, she's really coming from MMA. She's a grappling specialist. I think she's a 10th planet girl. And so she's a submission kind of girl. So I think that's where they've gotten like the crossover for boxing for us, to put us both on the line for that belt. But so mostly things that have changed for me is just going into a bit more of the small detail. Boxing and bare knuckle are two totally different sports. So for anyone to think that I'm a boxer right now, like, I've got to prove myself. I'm about to prove myself that coming December 20. So we're just going into more finer detail and I guess the finesse of the sport. I'm an all-star defense player, Muay Thai fighter, bare knuckle fighter. So I'm very like raw. And so how to try and change that and adapt that into boxing has been way more difficult than I ever imagined, because I need to have more fluidity. I need to almost be dancing on the toes. So I've just gotten more into, I guess, like the smaller shots for boxing and wanting to actually throw my hands. In bare knuckle, I have to kind of calculate, like, you're calculating your power, you're calculating, and you're having to be very precise in where you're hitting. And there's no defense in bare knuckle. So now we've got defense, boxing has gloves. We'll be fighting in 8-ounce gloves. So, blocking a punch and being able to counter with a punch will help me to, win that sort of round. So that's kind of where the training has changed. Outside of the intensity, I'm always training, mate. Every day is a 2-a-day in my life, for the last decade, if not longer. But now just going more into, like, I guess the boxing stuff that maybe before with bare knuckle I could kind of push aside. Well, now we can't push aside for that.
Right. Yeah, no, that definitely makes sense, and I'm definitely glad training's been going well. And a little bit more about training. I mean, talk to us a little bit more about some of the training partners that are maybe helping you out for this fight camp as well.
Oh man, I've had one of the best girls. So I've just been hitting with Christina. She's an owner out of B Legend Gym. I'm a TKMMA girl. I've also been working at Top Boxing gym here in Dubai. And really coming out of that and going over and finding some other high-level girls. They're smaller than me, so they're faster, their footwork's faster, they've got way more, they're throwing way more volume than I'm sort of used to, which is great. If you're going to get pieced up, you'd want to be getting pieced up in your training camp, just to kind of like level up and get faster, in that adaptation time. So I've got a big thanks to her and the local girls here in Dubai. They've kind of come out of the woodwork and they came out at the right time, I'm telling you.
Yeah, no, that's definitely awesome that you have a pretty good gym around you. And now another thing I was wondering about as well too. I mean, with this Misfits card, I mean, you're sharing the card with like Tony Ferguson and like a lot of other big names. I mean, talk to us a little bit more about what that's kind of like to be on such a cool card.
Dude, I am so blessed. Like my entire fight journey, I can't pick one card I haven't been like able to look back on and go, oh my gosh, you know, like okay, first debut, Borkow, Borkow of all people. Second card, you know, fighting a world champion and my first ever co-main, so became a poster child. People can fight for years before even getting, you know, that sort of opportunity to be a co-main event. After that, I was in Japan, fighting with Manny Pacquiao as the main event, you know, and then after that, fighting for a world title. Like I've had such a cool, crazy journey. So when I saw the card, you know, you got Tony Ferguson, Andrew Tate, like these guys. Like these are huge names. So even I think I kind of guess I got to sit back and be seen as like, oh wow, they must see me as something to keep giving me these cool opportunities to be fighting alongside on the same cards as these guys. They're like literal legends. I think the internet went crazy after Tony came back and won his boxing world title. You know, I think it was kind of like the ending and the beginning that we all kind of wanted to see for the fella. And then yeah, just to have Andrew Tate, who's now the CEO of Misfit, come from kickboxing and then adapting into boxing. I think this is exciting. Definitely have to sit back and give myself a little bit of a pat, even if I don't want to.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's definitely an awesome card, and I'm definitely glad you get to be a part of it. And now another thing I was curious about as well too. I mean, obviously, you know, you mentioned like Misfits giving you the call and maybe potentially keeping you around. I mean, do you think this is like something you're going to try and stick with Misfits boxing, or do you think you're maybe going to go back to bare knuckle? I mean, talk to us a little bit more about that.
I think bare knuckle is always going to be my true love. Everybody knows that. I hopefully BKFC even knows that. Just because I truly feel like that sport was made for me and my style. Do I want to stick around with boxing? Of course. I think boxing is, yeah, it's such a beautiful sport. It's been around since the beginning of time, and it really holds like a higher regard amongst like athletes and martial artists as well. And I guess I didn't really learn any of this until having the opportunity, and having people kind of I guess give me their 2 cents and let me know they're like, wow, you're getting into boxing, you know, and to see people's sort of faces go like, whoa, like boxing, oh my gosh, girl, like you're gonna this is where it's at, this is where you belong. And in my head I always thought, I thought bare-knuckle was kind of badass enough, like, you know, but I guess to hear that and hear like, I think it's because boxing is a bigger challenge, you know. Bare-knuckle, one shot can kill, and in boxing it's a chess game, and I think having that cerebral part of fighting thrown in there is where I guess it's gaining more respect from my fellow martial artists, which is really nice.
Yeah, no, that's definitely nice to hear for sure. And now, when it comes to like your fighting career and everything, I mean, what are maybe some of your goals that you might have with it, maybe for 2026 or just in general?
I think definitely just to stay more active and start to really enjoy being at the top of the platform, and being at the top of the ladder. You know, it's taken a long time and it's been a crazy journey just to climb up it. So it'll be nice to be able to spend 2026. Hopefully, let's say, inshallah, as they say with the locals, with a belt around my waist. I think 2026 will be a totally different year with different sort of opportunities to come around. But I think 2026 for me is definitely a year that it's, you know, this year it's my second world title fight. I also debuted in Power Slap, which is even just as crazy just to go in and enter into that sport. I would like to, spend a little time just at the top of the ladder and having a look around at the view. I think it's kind of, it's been a long struggle, and I think I've earned it.
Yeah, no, you definitely have earned it, and I definitely think those are some good goals. And you just mentioned Power Slap. Is that something you're also planning to return to as well next year?
Yeah, I think so. I was really lucky. I got to go and corner and coach one of the girls up, who I've trained with, Meow Meow from China. So it was just so cool. The difference with Power Slap is just everyone, the whole gang is so friendly, and it's so different to like the fight world sort of mentality, you know. It's enjoyable. So when Dana White wants me to go, of course I'm definitely gonna like think about it. I'd love to get back on the show, give it a go, maybe at my own weight class. That'd be nice.
Yeah.
Getting slapped a weight class above was a hard one. Lucky I came out with the win on that. But yeah, I think for me, I think I'm definitely would like to see that belt around my waist and, you know, spend the year boxing. I think even for me, I think getting to have a bit more like game time and ring time in boxing would also evidently help me in bare knuckle, when I go back to fighting for those guys as well. And, you know, they've got like Knuckle Mania coming up. I think they've got that $50 million tournament coming up. So BKFC's going to be pretty busy with all the men at the moment, which is kind of cool for me to know that, you know, I can be putting some time into boxing and just developing myself. If I didn't get to prove that to everyone in my last fight in that war, you know, I'm sure that being able to box and entertain everyone in that way is definitely going to be able to show that as well.
Yeah, no, I definitely think that's good to hear that you potentially could come back. And now another thing I was curious about as well too. I mean, obviously, you know, you've had a busy 2025 competing a lot. Talk us a little bit more about maybe some of your favorite memories that you might have had, whether it was competing or maybe even like in the gym, or talk us a little bit more about that.
I think for me this year, one of the best things to come from, yeah, doing the Power Slap and getting recognized as sort of a character there, and then fighting for a belt, and only after my third, you know, professional fight. I think for me it was, yeah, it was just such a cool thing to realize the level of fighter that I've become in such a short time. And I guess the commitment and passion that I've put just like into my life. Of course, I didn't come away with the win, but I don't think I walked away as a loser. And I think if anything, my stocks went higher. I proved to a lot of people that I deserve to be at the top, and, you know, to have my name constantly thrown around with the word world champion is such like an honorable thing. And then being able to use my name where, you know, I went out and did some missionary work right after the fights. And I'm now an ambassador for them, which is Jeff for Jeff over in South Africa. So I think for me, honestly, the coolest thing was being like, not going like, oh, I'm finally claiming my celebrity status, you know, diva, here we are. But being able to like go into these projects where you know that the platform and for everything that I've done is now inspiring people. And, you know, I'm going and like feeding starving children and building homes for schools and stuff. I think for me that was like just like the best thing for me this year, was knowing that everything that I've put into it all is like really paying off as a collective for what I like really stand for, which is, you know, being the change you want to see in the world. And yeah, doing good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, no, doing good's important. And I'm glad that
doing good. Feeding kids that literally were in positions that I was in. Like, what more could you want want out of life is knowing that you were like one of these struggling kids, and now you're someone who's inspiring them to evidently maybe one day walk in the same shoes as me. I think that's such a bloody cool thing, you know.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm definitely glad you're able to do cool things using your platform and everything like that. And definitely keep up the good work. And now another
punching
thing,
faces and punching
yeah,
more
there you
faces.
go. Blacking faces too. You're doing it all. Yeah, no, it's definitely good stuff there. And now another thing I was curious about as well too. I mean, you mentioned you know, you've grown a lot as a fighter. I mean, what are maybe some of the biggest things you might have noticed, like whether it's in the gym or just in your fights that you might have grown from, like since you've started bare knuckle or just in general?
I think I've become a lot calmer, which I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but I think a bit more at peace. I think the sport has brought me so much more peace. Yeah, and just feeling like more at home. And I used to put so much stress on like gym, and without like ever smelling the roses. And I think this year has been like the first year where I've realized I'm like, man, this is a life I don't even need a holiday from. Like I love every single day. I've never seen going to the gym as work. I've never seen missing out on crazy parties or, group holidays. I've never really cared about that. I think being able to enjoy, like really, really enjoy my life and appreciate it, like, and actually sit there and be like, oh, cool. Like we're doing like amazing things, a life that, people would dream of. I think this has been the first year that I've been able to sit back and actually like see everything for what it is. I think even like the debut, I was in Thailand, so I guess it's not that I missed out on the craziness of the viral, but if I was in America during that time, it would have totally changed perspectives on things. And who knows, maybe that sort of stuff would have derailed me. We're seeing like a lot of fighters come out now, even Connor openly admitted and praised to him, said like he fell off the bandwagon, which he succumbed to, I guess, like that superstar sort of thing, and forgot his roots. And I guess for me, I'm like so glad that I really did always just keep my head down and never really like believed my own hype, or I don't know, hopefully that's coming out the right way without like offending too many people. If it does, I'm unlucky. But I'm glad that I just kind of always just stayed true to what I see as an enjoyable life.
Yeah, no, I am definitely glad that you're able to stay focused. I definitely think that's important. And now another thing I wanted to ask you about as well too. I mean, talk to us a little bit more about life outside of training and everything like that. I mean, what have you kind of been doing outside of training and MMA or just fighting?
For me, outside of training, mostly I got to go hunting. I got to go hunting in South Africa. Shot my first impala, and I haven't been hunting in years. Okay, so in Australia, I'd go boar hunting, go camping. So getting to like take some time off after the fight and go back to doing like stuff that I feel like actually made me the better fighter and made me a better football player. Running from a giant boar is one thing to stay calm in. And when I went into football and played against some of the best linebackers and tackling them, it was never such a scary thing. So it was cool to go back out into like the wild and just go back into like, I guess, that sort of zone, the stuff that I've sort of not missed out on, but never really gave myself those opportunities to go and get back to my real roots. Bogan style.
Nice. Now, you mentioned your football a little bit. I mean, what was maybe some of your favorite memories with that? I mean, and talk to us a little bit more about that career you used to have.
Oh my gosh, I miss all the girls and just like the funniness of, I guess, being in America. Being on tour in America, and we were always doing stuff with the Hard Rock cafes, the Hooters, the crossovers with I guess a lot of the other celebrities that love football. Football is everything in America. Football is like the beating heart. Football, baseball, basketball, that's like the beating heart of America at its core. I don't think any of us can deny those things. And just I think the culture of like the culture of football, and it's such a family unit, I think that those are the things that I like really, really loved and missed about like football, and just the level of sport and the level of training and knowledge that's surrounded by the sport. See, like fighting, well, not boxing. Obviously, boxing is a grassroots, like, there's still a blueprint to boxing, but to fighting in general, like bare-knuckle is still new. It's still adapting and changing. MMA is forever changing. Like we've watched who has the belt right now. We've got predominant wrestlers, and we're always seeing this adaptation and change and evolution in MMA, so to say. So I like that about football, is there's been this like so many years of knowledge and training and information, and it's really the NASA of sport. Like if anyone's ever been able to go into and work in a combine gym or go into like any of the NFL actual like facilities, and you see just like the blueprints that they've got up there, the education that they have for their athletes. I think, that's what I really, really loved about football, was the fact that, I was one of these lingerie football girls, and then getting this like respect and credit from NFL level guys, and then being like, yo, come train with us, or yo, come to my facility and like have a look around. You'll like learn so much. I really, that's the peak. Justin Bieber, we've taken off the credit. We like you again now.
There you go. There you go. No, you mentioned that like maybe like seeing some of the facilities and everything like that. I mean, what was that kind of like? And talk to us a little bit more about what it was kind of like to train with some of those football players as well.
They're funny. They're actually really, really funny. And I think you don't get those sort of characters in fighting. Everyone's quite got this like such strong like energy about them in fighting, where there's like this like intensity about them, and kind of like lone wolf energy. While in football, it's a unit. You've got in our mine was seven men. And that's 7 people working as one unit. So, NFL, they've got X amount on the team, and it's those people working as one unit. They're just like so fun. They're just funny, I miss that sort of banter. And you can always tell who's an O lineman, and you can always tell who's kind of like a defense lineman, just in the way that the banter kind of goes. But they're just special humans. Like, I've never seen, man, I can't even tell you how much these guys weigh, but to watch an O lineman run faster than lightning, and just seeing the genetics of these guys is, it's beyond inspirational.
Yeah, no, football is definitely an interesting sport for sure. I'm definitely glad you were able to share those experiences. And now a little bit earlier, you mentioned a little bit about like Knuckle Mania and stuff like that with BKFC. I mean, with you competing in December, I mean, do you think that's something you can maybe try and compete in towards the beginning of the year? Or do you think that's maybe too soon?
Well, one thing, bare knuckle, after a fight, you're getting laid off whether you like it or not, because things are going to break. Boxing, I think it will be a little bit different. So we'll I'll have to see the turnaround time. I think Knuckle Mania, they've already got all the names for that, so I can't see myself getting pulled into Knuckle Mania. Getting to attend and support the event, is another different thing as well. But that's all up to Connor and David, really. And then also it would depend on whether I get the belt or not as well. I'm sure if you get the belt, the last thing Misfits is going to want to do is have one of their belt holders go and get broken in another sport and be out for the year. So I think it'll be interesting to see how everything sort of plays out. And the best thing about bare knuckle is, they keep calling it the retirement sport. So I think for anyone, you can always step back in. Like, you're always able to step back in, especially for bare knuckle.
Yeah. No, I definitely think that's important. And I definitely wish you would have been on that card, because I'll be at that one live. That was why I was asking that one. I love that scene. Yeah, no. Yeah, I was hoping you were going to say yes, but yeah, no problem. But it definitely makes sense.
Could have put you as my media press pass.
There you go.
Yeah, back.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, Tai, it's definitely been awesome having you on the show. I definitely appreciate you taking some time again. What's maybe your final message out there to the fans watching this video?
Oh, mate, thank you everyone for supporting, like, just a crazy little Australian Maori girl who's just living out her dream, traveling the world and fighting. I think, hell, if it wasn't for them, I used to sit at Smoko and talk about this with all the boys, and to all the blue collar workers back home in Australia. Like, thanks for always cheering me on. It means the world.
Yeah, no, that's definitely awesome. I'm definitely glad we're talking again, and thank you so much for taking the time, and looking forward to seeing your upcoming fight with Pearl Gonzalez.
Yeah, me too. I think this is going to be another 5-round war. I can already pick it.
Yeah, no, I definitely would agree. I definitely think this is going to be a fun one. I'm definitely excited to watch it. And again, good luck with your training, and thank you so much for taking the time.
Cheers, mate.